Pennsylvania governor calls for common sense gun legislation. What's up, blind viewers? How's everybody doing today? All right, I want to talk about something. I don't know if it's going to get demonetized or not, but I'm going to talk about it anyway because as a resident of Pennsylvania, I try to keep up on things, goings on in my state. And here in Pennsylvania, we have Governor Tom Wolf. He is a Democrat, and he is calling for common sense gun legislation. Now, of course, everybody is talking about the recent tragedy in Texas, and I get it. I understand it. So whenever these things happen, of course, this conversation is always very, very quick to follow. Now, as a Second Amendment advocate myself, I have thoughts on the whole conversation and the whole idea of gun legislation. So let's talk about it a little bit. Well, first of all, I don't mind our governor. I think he does a pretty decent job. Not a bad fella at all. So basically, his thing is, again, Governor Wolf, to lawmakers, enact common sense legislation to end gun violence. And of course, he goes on to proceed to talk about the Texas incident and how he has been trying to pass some gun legislation. And these are things that he really wants done here in Pennsylvania. So let's talk about him a little bit, and I'll give you my opinion. That's right, just my opinion on the whole thing. First of all, require reporting for lost and stolen guns within 72 hours. What's wrong with that? Nothing. I'm okay with that. If your shit is lost or stolen, yeah, report it as such. Not, oh, well, hey, I did this with it or this happened to it. Let me report it stolen now. Oh, when was it stolen? Oh, 4 months ago, a year ago. No, I agree with that wholeheartedly. I find nothing wrong with that. As a Second Amendment person, what's the problem? Zero, in my opinion. Just my opinion. Close loopholes and require background checks for all gun sales. All gun sales. That's right. Now, I have several of my own, and every single time I went to purchase one, I had to go through the background check process. Every single time. I even won one in a raffle once, and when I went to pick it up, that time, I had to go through the background check process. Every single time. Now, here's the loophole that he is talking about. It is, if I have one, and I want to sell it to you, and say, hey, you want it? $300. There you go. You give me $300, I hand it to you. Boom, done. That is what he's talking about. And for me, again, zero problem. I have zero problem with making you go to, I don't know, a gun store or any other place that is able to go ahead and do a background check for the parties and make it I guess you could call it a legal transaction. Again, I have zero problem with that. I think it's a good idea because that way, there you go. Everybody's accounted for. All the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted. What's the big deal? Private sales? I agree. 100%. So far there, old Tom, I'm with you, buddy. All right. The other one, require safe storage of firearms to keep guns out of the wrong hands to prevent accidental injuries. And yeah, I don't have a problem with that either. I think your firearm should be safe and secure. However, here's a little bit of a thing. If I have one for home protection, self-protection, and someone's busting down my door or breaking in my window, I don't want to have to run to a safe, spin the combination, or find a key and do all that and get it out. I want it handy, readily available. If I'm in bed asleep and I am awoken in the middle of the night by a smash, crash, a bang, or my bedroom door getting kicked open because they snuck up the steps, I don't want to have to get up, jump up out of bed all naked with the twig and berry swinging, looking for my gun safe or anything else like that. I want it readily available. Now, me personally, myself, I have a grown son that lives in the house. He is far over age, so not a problem. And I don't have any young ones running around. And when the little ones are here, the little one is little, she doesn't get out of your sight. Plus, it can be put away then when they come to visit. I don't have a problem with that, but to have them everything all locked up, I don't know. You should be able to have one. I mean, if you want to carry it with you all the time during the day, which some people, most people, it's like when you put on your socks and your underwear, it's all part of it. You put on your pants, your belt, and yep, you put it on your hip or wherever you carry yours. And it's just like getting dressed every other time, every other day with every other article of clothing. So some people don't have that problem, but yeah. So if you have several, instead of having them laying all over the place out where anybody can get them, I understand. So having it locked up, I kind of agree, but I also feel it's there for my protection, and I don't want to have to give somebody that probably has an illegal unregistered one to be able to use his before I can get to mine because I am abiding by the law and locking mine up. And now I got to jump through a bunch of hoops and get a key and find no, I don't agree with that. Okay. So let's move on to the next one. And that is create red flag laws to protect those who may be a danger to themselves and others. Now, this one for me is tricky. It's very tricky. I agree with it, but kind of like guilty, but with an explanation. I agree with it, but all right. So the red flag laws. Now, if someone has a mental issue or certain things going on, or people notice something, at work, in the workplace, you overhear, somebody hears some guy and he's fucking ranting and raving and I'm going to go home and I'm going to do that, or whatever. Or someone that has known mental issues, or if all of a sudden they become kind of like, hey, something going on. I get it. Red flag, red flag, red flag. However, here's the problem that I have with that. The society we live in now, where everybody is after everybody. Let's say, me too. How many times did some young lady say, oh, well, I met up with this guy. I put out on the first date. He banged me, then never called me back. Well, guess what? Hashtag me too. He hurt my feelings, so I'm going to use this me too to get back at this prick. Because he never called me, he ghosted me, so I'm going to make a me too accusation. Or he stood me up, or whatever it is, and they use that. Again, there it goes. It pushes all the real things to the side and makes people go, oh, I don't believe none of these bitches now. And I think that's what could happen with this. You piss off a neighbor. They're going to call in and say, hey, this guy over here, he was flipping out. He was throwing shit at me and jumping on my fence and threatening to do this and that and everything. And I heard him screaming at his wife and he smashed all his windows and he's doing this and that and that. I think you should red flag his ass. And I know he has those things in his house, so you should do it. And it's not true. Or again, spouse thing. We're getting a divorce. Well, this prick, I lost and I'm not getting any spousal support. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to red flag him and get his 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 freedom sticks taken away. Yeah, I'm going to get him taken away. I'm going to red flag him. I'm going to file false report. Or another thing, say baby daddies. Well, baby daddy didn't pay his child support. He's being an asshole. I can't stand his ass. He's pissing me off. Well, guess what I can do? I know he has those things. I will red flag him. And I know what you're saying. No. Come on, BlindViews. They're going to have a task force. They're going to have a special unit that's going to take all these and they're going to go invest. Bullshit. There's not enough cops to do what they need to do now. There's not enough anything. What do we hear about the child abuse cases? We'll call child welfare services. Well, we're understaffed and underfunded and we don't have enough. And that's why that kid was living in that closet for, 2 years in his own urine and feces. And we didn't know because we just don't have enough people. And that's what we're going to hear. That's exactly what we're going to hear when we get all these red flag calls and red flag reports. They're going to go, well, we didn't get enough people to fucking waste our time to sit here and investigate this. Yeah. The guy said he did it, so we're just going to come in and we're going to red flag him and we're going to start taking shit. That's the fear that I have. Or any excuse, like now, depending on who is in office where, and they want the Second Amendment nixed, they'll just go, hey, red flag. You're this, you're that. You have, we saw you went to the doctor and we got a report and you had a headache yesterday. So we think you have mental illness. We're going to red flag you. Or we know this and we're going to red flag you. Or, we saw you scream at that guy who stole your parking space at Home Depot. We're going to red flag you. And they're going to use any excuse to come in and take your shit. That is my fear with that last one. Is there something that needs to be done? I know, but the background check. I know everybody says, well, all I can tell you is in my state. I don't know how your state works. I don't know how it works everywhere else. It should be the same across the board. But here in Pennsylvania, where I am, every single time you purchase one, you have to get a background check. If you have your carry permit, every 5 years, you have to go in and get another background check to get your carry permit. And yes, when you go to gun shows, you just don't walk in and hand the guy money and he throws it in a brown paper bag and you walk to your car. No. If they don't have a way to do the background check there, if there's not a computer there and they don't do the background check there, then they will ship it to a place that does, and you can go there, get your background check done, and pick up your item. So all these woke people, all the lefties that say, well, you can just go to the supermarket and buy one. No, you can't. Well, you can order them online. You sure can, but you don't. Give them your credit card number and it comes UPS to your fucking door. It doesn't work that way. You can say it does all you want, and maybe it does. Maybe in woke California it might, but I doubt it. But here in Pennsylvania, no. They ship it to a proper place and they call you and say, hey, your shit's here. And you go, I'll see you in half an hour. And you go and you get your background check done and you wait. And if everything's okie dokie, then you get your item. If not, you don't. So yes, there are things in place. There are steps that you have to go through. You just don't order one on the internet again and it shows up from FedEx or the mailman knocks on your door. Hey, look what I got for. No, it doesn't work that way, people. So you can cry and whine all you want. Now, before I get on out of here about this whole topic, I just want to say this. Yes, it was a tragedy. It's a horrible thing. Nobody should have to go through this stuff, but here's the deal. Here's the real deal. This is a big deal. Big deal. It is top news, right? And why? Because this person went and obtained this weapon legally. But the thing is do they also get on here and have a big to-do when people that have illegal weapons commit crimes? like the weekends of terror in Baltimore, Chicago, Detroit, LA, Minnesota. So when people go on rampages and a bunch of people in the hood get shot by another bunch of people that have illegal firearms, does that hit the news? Are we talking about that? Are we saying we need to make some laws to get the guns out of those people's hands? No. The only time that there's a problem is when there's some wackadoodle that somehow slipped through the cracks, managed to buy one legally, that there's a problem. How about you get rid of all those knuckleheads that pat, that have the numbers filed off or bought them from Tyreek and them? Why don't you deal with them people too? Not just the law-abiding citizens that do everything by the book. And yes, the mental health thing and other things, that's something that needs to be addressed. You need to somehow skirt the HIPAA laws to have people say, here's my medical records, go through those too. But as right now, you can't do that. So, just because there's wackadoodles out there, don't come after every single law-abiding citizen that happens to be a Second Amendment person. We have people that are very, very, very old and very incapable of motor functions and reaction time that are 70, 80, 90 years old that are still behind the wheel of a car that can probably kill as many people as somebody with a weapon. But we don't deal with them because that's a medical issue. That's ageism. That's everything else. Because they're law-abiding citizens and not hurting anybody. But we have people that are unstable for many, many different reasons doing lots of things. Now, our school children, should they be put through this? No, they should not. No, they should not. But there's a lot of things that shouldn't happen. And I will end on this. Most of the places, not all, but most of the places where these tragedies happen are in gun-free zones. That means only the bad guy has one. None of the good guys can defend themselves because they're law-abiding citizens. They go by the law and they leave their weapon out of that zone and they don't take them with. So we're all sitting ducks in the gun-free zone while the criminals can do whatever they want to. And with this administration, they'll probably get bailed out with a slap on the wrist to do it all over again because they're part of some poor little group that is marginalized. Well, that's the shit that needs to be changed. Not coming after law-abiding citizens that have never done anything wrong, who have had guns for many, many years and have never even hurt anybody with one. And as always, you do not have to agree with a single word I said. That's not the point here. The point is, this is Blind Views, and yep, that's the way I see it.
What we do here is go back.